Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Chris from Vaughn, and today I'm going to be presenting a high-level overview of Vaughn and what we do. So first, I'll start by framing the problem. Really, most teams today are already using AI for go-to-market. For example, an AE might go into Claude and ask, oh, summarize my deal risk for this account. A manager might ask, what moved out of commit since last week? And then RevOps might ask to build a forecasting package. And really the key issue today is that there's no quality control over how AI is rolled across a go-to-market organization. Two team members can ask the same question and receive completely different answers, and there's no governance or standardization over the outputs being provided by AI. And what a lot of teams try doing is they try building on top of Claude to fix this. So initially, they might start by writing skill files, one per use case. Eventually, what they're going to find is that there's too many skill files to manage, so they need to stand up a GitHub repo. From there, because Claude has context limits, it doesn't perform very well when it comes to multi-deal, multi-source analysis. What teams do is they typically do pre-processing in Snowflake to get around this. Then the last stage in this progression is building a custom UI. If you want anything beyond just a simple chat experience, for example, shareability of dashboards, proper scoping of data by user role, you're going to need to put in work when it comes to the UI and user experience. And really the main idea is that this whole build process might take you multiple months to do. And once you're done with it, you're going to have to deploy multiple go-to-market engineers to maintain it. What Vaughn does is it gets you on top of that staircase in a matter of 2 weeks. The way it works is that Vaughn connects to your structured and unstructured data sources. So for example, your CRM, your data warehouse, call recorder, email, etc. And from there, what it's going to do is it's going to build out a go-to-market brain over the course of 3 to 7 days. This go-to-market brain is going to have all of the information on your go-to-market process and all of that institutional knowledge. So for example, your sales stages, your ICP, messaging, sales team structure, information on, for example, sales enablement, etc. This training phase happens completely autonomously, and once Vaughn is done, essentially you can go in, and with the chat interface you can give any task and run your daily workflows out of Vaughn. Because it's all powered by the go-to-market brain and that context layer, Vaughn is going to deliver much higher quality answers compared to a general AI solution. And Vaughn can be used by anybody who's touching go-to-market data, but there's a few common categories of use cases that we see. So one is CRM admin. So you can essentially run any sort of Salesforce or HubSpot admin task using Vaughn directly from the chat interface with a human-in-the-loop approval workflow. Pipeline generation, a lot of SDRs are using Vaughn for things like account prioritization, dormant account scoring. Pipeline management, you can use it for forecast packages. AEs often use it for things like daily meeting prep, writing follow-ups, automated CRM updates. Churn risks and upsells. So because Vaughn is connecting to your unstructured data with your call recorder and email, Vaughn can surface accounts that are at risk of attriting based off actual customer conversations. And finally, ad hoc reporting. So if the CEO asks a question about needing pipeline data in 30 minutes, Vaughn can deliver responses very quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull up Vaughn and show you what it looks like. Right here we have the entry point to Vaughn. This should look pretty familiar and intuitive. We have a chat interface where we can give any question and run our daily workflows. And to provide some additional context, what I'm going to do is go to the back end and show you the go-to-market brain. This go-to-market brain is autonomously built during the 3 to 7 day period I spoke about, and is broken down into 3 major sections. So we have semantics. This would be where our organizational definitions exist. For example, what are the new business opportunity stages? Or how are we defining churn? Diving into the churn definition, We can see what that definition is, how it's computed, any notes on the definition, filter criteria, and then how it's stored in our CRM. And really the value of semantics is that you can apply standardization across the entire go-to-market org. Next we have ontology. This would be where the relationships between the various systems are stored. For example, we can see Salesforce in its data model and how it relates to Snowflake. And finally, we have memory. This would be where we store things like, for example, our sales playbooks, messaging, anything that's subjective or unstructured data would be stored here. As an example, I can go into the sales enablement inventory memory. And from here, I can see things like, for example, the sales team structure, the customer onboarding deck, the meeting prep workflow, our branded deck template, follow-up email templates, etc. Really the value of Vaughn in this go-to-market brain and context layer is that it allows you to have much higher quality answers in a general AI solution, and you can enforce standardization and governance across the org. I actually have an example prepared of what a front-end user experience might be, which I'll walk through. In Vaughn, what you could do is you can create dashboards conversationally. For example, I can go in and ask it to create me a customer health monitor. And what this is going to do is it's going to give an overview of all the accounts and their churn risk. I can see an executive summary up top. So for example, we have 133 active customers. It's flagging how many need attention. We have key summary metrics listed out for us. We have a risk distribution and churn reasons. The beauty of Vaughn is that because we're connecting to your unstructured data sources, your call recorder and email, for example, it's not going to just look at what's in the CRM. It's going to look at actual customer conversations to give you these insights. And then down the bottom, we have customer health scores. I can go into Italian platform, for example, and I can see, oh, okay, engagement's very low. Adoption is also low. These are the renewal risks. And these are red flag quotes directly from what the customer said in either email or on a phone call. And the great thing about these dashboards in Vaughn is that it's not just a static HTML page. We're actually building out the ETL pipelines on the back end when creating these dashboards. And what that means in practice is that these dashboards are shareable and easily scalable. So what I can do is I can go in and hit share. I can distribute this to my customer success team. And I can also scope the data that's being displayed by ownership. So reps only see what's relevant to them. So I can also go in, hit the Ask Vaughn button, and if I want to drill into any of the data on here, I can ask it, for example, oh, tell me more about this account, and Vaughn will come up with answers for me. So yeah, that's essentially Vaughn in a nutshell. We do have a free trial if anybody's interested in participating in that, and we also have month-to-month pricing. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you soon.